Hi guys, welcome back to Jenely's Q&A. Today we have a very special guest. She's an advertising major. She does it all. Olivia Kincade.
Hi. Super nice to meet you in person. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Would you rather for me to call you Olivia or Liv?
You can call me Liv.
Liv.
Yes.
Okay, perfect, Liv. How are you?
I'm
first
wonderful.
Of all?
Yes.
How has your day been so far?
Busy, but pretty good. Tuesdays and Thursdays are my busiest day with my capstone class and work, but been a pretty good day. I like the weather, so.
The weather is nice. The spring is here. I love the spring. I don't know about you. We are having good vibes, and I would like to ask about your major first. So, as an advertising major, Liv, how do you think your involvement in theater and music has influenced your creative approach to advertising campaigns?
That's a really, really great question. I was super involved in theater in high school, and music is a huge part of my life. It's been a part of my life since I was 2 years old. I think it made me pretty confident. I'm not shy at all. Whether that had something to do with my dad, too. But I was always performing, and I knew I wanted to somehow integrate that into my career, but I wasn't really looking to pursue theater or music professionally. So I think I found advertising kind of compelling. I perform the same way. I'm, around people, presenting, and thinking outside the box, working creatively. So it definitely did influence my career choice. And I really like it because it also offers me the flexibility and freedom to create outside of work and school. There's a lot of flexibility, and it's pretty encouraged in the industry to be involved in the art scene to, stay fresh. So, yeah.
I mean, you do look very confident. You seem very confident. We were talking before the camera were on, and you seem very outgoing. You would be the perfect friend. You mentioned your dad. How, for context, John Kincade is a sports radio host, and he has been in the business for decades.
Yes.
How would you say your dynamic with your dad influences your life in general, your major, your relationships, everything?
My dad is so cool. He's got a cool job, but he's just so funny and confident, and he raised me to go at life with that same attitude, that same confidence that he has. That definitely gave me, I feel like, a different level of confidence and social, easygoing attitude that made me confident as a younger child than I feel like a lot of other young kids are. It helped me be able to make friends. It helped me be able to make connections. I switched schools 3 times before, I got to my high school, so I had to learn how to make friends, and I was really, really fortunate that he instilled me with that courage. But beyond that, I wanted to be a lot like him, even though he always encouraged me to, find my own path. I'm very much like him. We both are we're Klein students. Now he's a teacher here. And, I always wanted to go to Temple. And I don't know if it's necessarily because he went here, but he kind of, his lifestyle is something that I've kind of been replicating. I think the best part about my dad and our relationship is that he's my dad, yes, but he's also a dad to, a lot of my friends. My boyfriend and him have a great relationship. He really takes the time to make everybody's, life special. And I'm very, very lucky to have him as my dad, and, yeah, he's the coolest.
And I must say, I'm very, very lucky to have him as my professor. Yeah. I mean, he has pushed me to do my best in every single submission, to, showcase my personality. Even here doing this, I feel like I am more comfortable with my voice and my personality and myself in general. So I think, Yeah, I think your dad is amazing.
Yes.
I do have class tomorrow with him. But back to you, Liv.
Yes.
I mean, you do have a diverse background with roles in the Merit Singers.
Yes.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
And, theater and the peer little leader program. How have those experiences helped you build skills that are valuable in advertising?
That's another great question, and it gives me the opportunity to talk about my high school, Marist High School in Atlanta, Georgia. I was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, but we moved back up here by the time I went to college. I adore my high school. I had the best high school experience possible. It was a private Catholic school, and it was very intense, but because they offered me so many, varied opportunities at school, I was very involved in music, so I was in the Merit Singers. It's like a jazz vocal ensemble, so we would perform. It was an audition only. I made some of my best friends through that. I also did trio, which is just 3 girls vocal performance.
So fun.
Yeah, it's amazing. It gave me confidence, but it introduced me to people that I didn't talk to necessarily in my classes or in my grade. That's definitely helped me with advertising, because you work on different teams, different projects with different people you're meeting on a daily basis. So it's of the utmost importance that you're able to at least communicate comfortably with new people, and at most kind of shift your personality just slightly so that, they can match your energy. You're setting them at ease. You're working creatively together. So it definitely, gave me a lot of confidence there. And then the peer leader program, I think that just helped me be a good executive, a good account planner, because I was in charge of a team of incoming students, helping them get comfortable in what can be a very intimidating school environment. Once you're through it, it feels like family, but everybody's starting out in 7th grade, you don't really know anybody. It's private Catholic school, very strict. So, you really, it helps to have, somebody lead you through it. And so I was happy to be able to do that. And I think it does make me a better account executive to this day. I miss high school. All the time I think about it. I actually was just visiting a friend from high school in Boston for St. Patty's Day. But I'm very lucky to have had that experience so early on. It definitely set up a good foundation.
No, for sure. And I mean, based on my research, you did a lot.
Yes.
You mentioned that it was intense and strict. How so? How would you describe that experience?
So Marist is a 7th through 12th grade school, and most students come in 7th grade, but a new batch of students come in 9th grade as well. And then 7th and 8th grade is called the Foundations program, so it's just middle school, but you're in the same building as the high school. In terms of intensity, the academics are incredibly rigorous, very strict. Almost all of the classes I took in high school were APs. That did set me up for success in college, because I'm getting to graduate a year early, but it was a very intense school, and then socially it could be tough, like not for me personally, but I do know people that it was very hard for socially, because it can feel very cliquey at times. I feel like we got better as we grew up, that's how it is. We get a lot closer as a class, but there are some social mechanics in that school that you wouldn't really expect or have to navigate at a public school, and I think that definitely can be overwhelming at times. And they're strict, very uniform heavy. I've heard they got a little bit more strict. They were kind of looser during when I was there. Yeah, I've heard they got a little bit more intense after COVID, but I still would have adored it, I'm sure. The best part of it is the community. We called ourselves a Marist fam, and I definitely set me up for success in college. College has been so much easier because of how intense they made it at times.
Because of all that hard work.
Yes,
sure.
yes.
Yeah, you are graduating.
Yes.
And you're graduating early.
Yes.
Because of those AP classes. Mm-hmm. Was that during COVID?
Yeah, most of that was during COVID. Starting in freshman year, but COVID hit during my sophomore year of high school, and it didn't really get fixed until senior year, so yeah.
Okay, because I did the same.
Yeah, really?
I did the same. In a community college while I was a senior in high school. I was
awesome.
Taking college credits. So how was that experience? Because I know for me it was something very, very intense, and I didn't know what to do with my life. How about you?
I I knew I was going into advertising starting senior year, so I knew the path I wanted to go down. For me, the hard part about AP classes is that you don't get credit unless you perform well on one exam. That is crazy to me, especially because I do not take tests in college. Almost everything, as a creative student is projects or teamwork, not tests. I'm a good test taker. I'm fine at it, but I remember being up like 4 a.m. in high school in sophomore year studying for my AP US history class because I hadn't taken U.S. history before because it was I went to private school before that and they taught me European history. I wasn't taught American history like that until AP U.S. history, and that is a tough class. And it all came down to the exam. I did perform well on the exam. I got the credits, but I keep thinking about, oh my goodness, if I didn't study properly for the right things, it could all go out the window. So that was definitely stressful, but luckily for me, I didn't mess with my time too much. Yeah,
I was in your position, and it is hard. Not specifically that test. It was so hard that I don't even remember the test, but I do remember IH, Intellectual Heritage,
gosh, yes.
which was the worst. I mean, he wanted us to know every single thing.
That class.
So, and all thoughtful, and you need to create your own beliefs, but at the same time you had to know the concepts and the history, so it was difficult. Now that we know your educational journey and your given your extracurriculars, what do you think has been the most important lesson you've learned that will help you succeed in the advertising world?
I think that the most important lesson I've learned was probably from a professor named Andrew Merce. He is in the advertising department. He actually owned his own firm before he sold it and now teaches full-time. He encouraged me to not limit myself when it comes to advertising. So what I mean by that is it's very easy to say that I'm an advertiser, I'm going to work in either in-house or at an agency, and that's what I'm going to do because that's what my major's in. That's not true, because yes, that is what I majored in, and yes, those skills are super valuable if I do want to go into an agency or in-house advertising. But he encouraged me to look elsewhere. I did, and that's where I'm working now. I have skills that are super transferable, and I can work in digital marketing space doing web stuff. I could work for any kind of journalism publication because I can write copy. I can also write articles. I could work for any kind of finance company because I know how to manage things now, because of what I majored in. So he showed me there's a whole new world, and I think that made me really excited because I don't want to do the same thing forever. I know I'm going to want to change it up. So yeah, he really opened my eyes to that, and I think that's going to help me be a success because I'm not going to feel limited, and that's super important.
I mean, you seem, as I said at the beginning, you seem like the type of person that would do it all.
Yeah.
And I mean, you do like to switch it up, and you're involved in so many things, as we can see. And you mentioned Andrew Merce. I think I did take a class from him.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure because I'm doing a minor in content creation.
Okay, you might have.
So I might have, but he sounds like a very wise man, and I mean that's how it should be, right? Because life is short. It may seem long, but it is short, and we have to enjoy it with what we like. How was being an entertainment writer for the Blue and Gold?
Ooh, that was actually one of my least favorite things I did in high school because I think I'm a terrible entertainment writer. I am fantastic at telling a story, writing creatively. I used to write fan fiction when I was 6 years old, and then from that point on, I've just been a creative writer. Entertainment writing requires me to sometimes critique things, and I'm terrible at critiquing things. I'm fantastic at saying if I like something or not, but to provide reasons why, I lose it. You know what I mean? I like don't have my ability to like quantify. I just am like, well, I like it because I like it. It definitely was difficult. It definitely told me I did not want to go into print journalism, but I did get to meet a couple like of my best friends through it, and actually it seems to have worked out well for all of them. One of my friends who wrote for the Blue and Gold is graduating with a journalism degree, and another one of my friends who wrote for the Blue and Gold is at Notre Dame pursuing a journalism degree, so you can't really beat that. Definitely worked out, but yeah, I can't even read back some of the stuff I wrote. I had the right idea, but I had the spirit, but it was not quite there yet.
No, yeah, I mean, it was definitely a life experience,
Yes.
and you took it, as a way to learn and to, see how your writing was and develop it better. Entertainment writing is definitely something, and you do need evidence
I know.
to say why you like or why you don't like something. So I totally understand. I mean, movies would be fun.
Yes. I love movies. I love film.
You do. What's your favorite movie?
Oh my gosh. My favorite movie is a movie called Cloverfield from 2008, and it's amazing. It's a creature feature.
Wow. When was it released?
I think it was 2008 or 2009. It's an amazing. Everybody should check it out. The first one. The other two aren't very good, but the first one's amazing.
I'm definitely gonna check it out because I'm not from here, so I have to
So
expand my knowledge on movies and entertainment.
But very hard.
And you took it as an experience, and we were just talking about experiences. So what experiences would you say have shaped the person that you are right now?
A lot of different experiences have definitely come together to help me, identify my values and what I hold important. I consider my life incredibly happy and very easy. I'm very fortunate to have not had a lot of scary, bad things happen to me. I think a thing that really shaped me was a dad in the media. It's weird as a little kid to have a dad that people know that you don't know. I used to get a lot of the time when I was younger, people coming up to me and saying, I knew when you were born, like I've listened to your dad for forever, like I knew about you before you were even born. And I was like, oh, like that's cool, but also I don't know you, and I'm not my dad. My dad also felt very similarly, I think. He always wanted me to be seen as an individual and not, just John Kincade's daughter. I think that was another reason why he kind of encouraged me not necessarily to go here, but I was always going to go here. And another thing that shaped me, I think my immigrant mom. My mom is an immigrant from Jamaica. She immigrated here when she was 10 and a half years old, which is a really formative time in your life to come to a whole new country. She wasn't aware she was immigrating either. She found out once the plane landed in America that she was no longer going back. She didn't get to take anything from her home pretty much. She was sleeping on a love seat in an apartment for 6 months when they first got here. And she's the youngest of 7 children, by the way. So, yeah, she definitely had a much more difficult upbringing than me. And I think it made me appreciate what I have more and also have a little bit more empathy for those around me. I feel like having a mother who is an immigrant has made me a little bit more tuned to the world's issues and being a friend to everyone and kind to everyone. So those experiences definitely shaped me the person I am today. My dad's cancer probably influenced me the most recently. He had stage 3 colon cancer, and he had a foot of his colon removed and went through 6 months of chemotherapy, which was super scary. He's already had cancer twice in the past before I was even born, so having it for a third time was heartbreaking. But it's made me think about how I live my life and what I hold important, and it brought me closer to my faith, and he's healthy now, so you really can't beat it. But those are some formative experiences in my life that make me who I am, definitely.
So, yeah, definitely your parents.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot to take in. And you lived it. I'm just learning about it, and I'm like, wow, I'm just taking everything in. And, I mean, it's crazy. Let's just call it crazy. And I was gonna say, like, have your parents, like, talk to you through those things, or what? I'm just trying to say, like, what methods have you taken from those experiences, and how have you applied them to your life?
Right. My parents, they told me about their hardships pretty early on in life, because I think they wanted me. I was an only child, so I didn't really have, a lot of people my age that I was hanging out with. I was hanging out with my parents. And so that gave me a little bit more of like an old world view. I also read a lot when I was younger, so I was reading books that are probably too inappropriate for a second grader in second grade. I was big into the Hunger Games series, like as it was coming out. So, I was very much like a little bit older in my head. So they taught me through, pretty much everything, and were very open with me. I think the methods, though, that they taught me, they used to say adversity all the time. And they'd tell me that I had to handle adversity, well. That's like a buzzword that and I used to get so frustrated because I was like, well, this is a terrible thing that's happening to me right now, and I should be allowed to be upset and sad for as long as I need to. And yes, I think it's healthy to express your emotions, but my dad used to always tell me you have to handle adversity well, and you can have a day to cry about it, but you have to get back to your life and back to it the next day, because the world's not going to wait for you, and it's not. And so that definitely made me tough, because I live a very comfortable life. I'm so blessed and lucky to live the life I lead, but knowing their stories and them being so open with me has given me tools of toughness, mental fortitude, physical strength. I just feel like I'm resilient like them because they were so open and talked to me about how the world looks different for everybody. Yeah.
So, your parents lived those experiences. What challenges have you personally went through?
I always struggle to name my challenges because, again, very, very straightforward, simple life. I think I struggled a little bit. My health has been something of a point of anxiety for me. I am relatively healthy, but I have endometriosis, which is no fun, and I've had surgeries for it and treatment for that. There's no cure for endometriosis. The only way to stop it is getting a hysterectomy, and it's a terrible disease to have to battle. But the treatment that I have right now, which is just an IUD, is working great, and so I'm very blessed for that. But it was hard. I missed a lot of school for that, and I just felt kind of different and weird because I didn't have the same experiences as other girls my age when it came to puberty and being normal. I was struggling, it was painful. Every single thing that should have been exciting and new was hard and painful. And being in the hospital, being on morphine when I was 9th, 10th grade because they didn't know what was wrong with me. And missing so much school at a school that's so intense, it sucks. But luckily for me, the treatment did work out really well. And I've been doing very well since. But yeah, health is always scary. But I'm very lucky to be healthy right now, so.
Can you tell us a little bit about your condition? Because personally, I do not know what it is.
Yeah, of course. So endometriosis is a chronic illness. It affects 1 in every 10 women. And it is basically the overgrowth of tissue on your uterine lining. So where the tissue normally grows, it's growing outside of that, whether it be on, other organs, just outside of the uterus, and it can affect everything. For me personally, I had a lot of gastro issues with it because the tissues were growing closer to my intestines. Think of it as a benign cancer almost. So the way the tissue grows is kind of like a cancerous tissue, but it's not harmful. It can't hurt you. The only thing that can hurt it is if it's painful, basically, just chronic pain. And they can remove it, but they can't stop it from growing back. The only way to get it stopped is to remove your uterus entirely, which is expensive and painful surgery, and then you would not be able to have children if you don't have a uterus. So it's a very difficult disease to deal with. Luckily for me, though, there's treatments, and the treatment that I'm on is just a hormonal IUD. That stopped almost all my tissue growth. So I'm very lucky that works out, but it is a pain to deal with, and it affects so many women. There's still no cure, so it's something that I'm passionate about, bringing awareness to.
Yeah, there's definitely no excuses, because I think that's definitely not excuses, because health issues are just something that you have to deal with. It's not like you can choose if you deal with it or not. And and you're still a happy person, so I think no one has an excuse to to not be grateful with life. Yes. I would say, not necessarily happy, because I wouldn't say be happy all the time. That's not the reality. But be grateful with all the little things that you have, with the people that you have around you. I think that's a very important lesson. Okay, so switching it up to advertising again. What specific aspects of advertising you like the most, and what are some of the aspects that you like the least?
Personally, I am not, an art director. I'm not a creative type. I don't love working in the creative, just because I'm not the best at it. It's not something that's super strong, like my strong suit. I'm good at executing it, but the brainstorming, a little bit rough around the edges there. My favorite part is web design. I love digital advertising. I like search engine optimization, which is, working on those keywords to make your site get to the top. I think I like it because you can tell, if what you're doing is working. There's a very tangible way for me to change the keywords on a website and then see it rise in the ranking. I know that I've done something properly. It's sometimes harder in the creative to know exactly if it's resonating. It's harder to measure, but I like that you can quantify, if I got you 10 more website visits this month, then you see that I did that. And that's probably my favorite part. Yeah, that's what I do for my work, and I love it.
Yeah, I've done web design, and it's definitely, there's a lot of brainstorming, and you have to know the details and everything that you're planning to do ahead. So yeah, I think that is pretty cool. And I think, brainstorming, I don't know if you do this, but I would write down everything that I think about and just organize it later.
Yeah, definitely. I like to brainstorm with other people. Just team efforts are the best, and luckily it's a very team oriented industry, so I'm lucky that I can work with others.
Group settings.
Yes.
Okay, so you're graduating this semester. How are you feeling? What are some of the goals after graduating?
Ooh.
What's on your mind?
I feel great. I'm so ready to be done with school forever. I don't think I'll be coming back to school. I am proud of myself. I'm graduating summa cum laude, so top, I don't know, percent of the class, but I do know that I came in with that as my goal, and I achieved it. I have a 4.0. I maintained it this whole time. I'm very proud of myself for how I performed in college, but I am so ready to not be in a school setting anymore. In terms of goals after, I am going to be working full-time at the company I intern at, SEOM Interactive. Shout out to them. We have a huge Temple presence, and I adore them. Can't wait to keep working with them and learn more, especially for this first year outside of school. I'm going to still be in my off-campus apartment with my roommate as she finishes up her last year of school. So I'll still be able to be around everybody that came in my year. I want to, get back into my hobbies a little bit, though, because I work 40-hour weeks pretty much on top of school, and I'm excited to have school not be on the agenda at all and just focus on work. Because at that point, I feel like I'll just be able to focus a little bit better and have more time for things that I enjoy. I want to get back. This time last year, I started Pelotoning, and it was actually really fun. So I'm going to start biking again like that, and just have a little bit more free time to myself. Thank God.
You do deserve it, and I'm proud of you.
Thank
I
you.
mean, that is some hard work.
Yes.
Besides biking, I'm curious, what are your other hobbies?
I have a lot of hobbies. I bike on the Peloton because I actually don't know how to ride a real bike. I never learned. I blame my dad. And I do like fitness. I usually get pretty into fitness over the summers because I don't have a lot of energy or time in the winters to maintain it. But over the summers, I'm usually doing like 2 hours of some type of physical activity a day. I just like to get the energy out, especially when it's nice out. I like arts and crafts. I always have. I'm big into paint by numbers. Diamond paintings, which is like paint by numbers with little crystals, are also very fun. And then I'm a huge TV fan. I could watch TV all day. I love pretty much every type of show. The Bachelor just ended yesterday, so I gotta wait for Bachelor in Paradise.
What are your thoughts on that? Sorry to interrupt, but I needed to ask.
I can't stand it. I thought Grant was a terrible bachelor. He did not. He did not treat any of these women with class because he was telling all of them that he loved them and that they were the one. I feel terrible for Latia, and I hope Grant and Juliana are happy, but I doubt it. I'm doubtful. I also watch Yellow Jackets. One of my favorite shows is Yellow Jackets. Highly recommend that if you like, kind of mystery, thriller, horror show. Really good. Yes, and I love The White Lotus, so I've been enjoying that too. As long as my shows are on, I'm happy, and I can do all of those things together because I have like a walking pad, so I can walk and watch my shows. I can do crafts and watch my shows. I love my TV, and me and my roommate adored. We just watch TV shows all day.
Been meaning to watch The White Lotus.
Yes,
and
so good.
Everybody keeps giving me spoilers, and I'm like, no, do not tell me anything, because I want to watch it myself.
Really good.
Thank you so much, Liv, for coming.
Yes.
I really enjoy my time here.
Thank you.
Talking with you, and I am so proud.
Thank you.
I hope you do amazing. I wish you the best, and yeah.
Thank you.
Any message?
Yeah, sure. I wanted to thank you for having me and for getting me the chance to chat with you. And yeah, go Owls, and bye.